Yo, what's up, everyone? It's Christian back, and we have our special guest here again.
It's John.
It's John.
Woo!
And we're here to review the Suicide Squad. What's up? Directed by James Gunn in the DC
No, I think they should drop the
You think it's
Suicide Squad? Yeah, it should be Suicide Squad. More clean that way, you know. I don't know, Suicide Squad. I like it, you know. It could be an Oscar winner.
Oh my! You know what? You could be right.
for costume design.
2-time Oscar-winning franchise.
2016's Oscar winner
Squad.
Suicide Squad.
And the Suicide Squad winning something. They're gonna win something.
Imagine if the Suicide Squad doesn't get any Oscar nominations.
Oh, what a
like I'm not saying it's like, oh, it's this great Oscar-worthy movie, but I feel like if 2016 Suicide Squad was like the benchmark for Oscar-nominated comic book movies, like,
you know what? They might have a chance with visual effects.
I think so. Maybe costume design.
King Shark alone, you know.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
I love King Shark.
The shark skin. Okay, here I want to settle the debate right now. King Shark is popping off in the DC. You know,
yeah. What can you say? James Gunn is good with his
his little
CGI animal characters.
Because not only do you have him in the Suicide Squad, and you have him in the Suicide Squad game coming up, you have him in the Harley Quinn show.
Oh, I love him in the Harley Quinn show. He's very different in the Harley Quinn show, but he's great.
Yeah, exactly. And you also have him in some select DC animated movies, and yeah, he's just getting really popular now. So I love that James chose him. Mm-hmm. Now, by the way, this is an official review from us. We're going to go with full spoilers. You should have probably already seen the movie by now. Enough time has passed. So,
if you haven't, leave now.
Yeah, leave now or forever.
Come back when you watch it.
Exactly. So, John, what are your thoughts?
I thought it was really good. I think I don't know if it's the best that the DC EU has done so far, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
To being the top.
I think it's fantastic.
It's very different from what they've done previously.
Right. It's extremely different. And I just rewatched it, so I'm just gonna say it right here, right now. I think it's honestly a 9 out of 10. The way I rate movies is very different from other people. I grade them based on what they were going for, you know? And I feel like this went...
That's fair.
Yeah. I think this achieved all the marks that they were going for with it. I think it's the best movie they've done, but in the terms of the actual, like, universe, I still think Shazam is the best.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. Shazam, I think.
Yeah, definitely. First off, I love that it was rated R, and then he went there with stuff. He wasn't shy about it. He had like the balls to actually commit to some certain scenes and the story around it.
And you could tell that this time around the studio probably didn't intervene at least that much.
It's also a miracle.
Free to do whatever he wanted to do.
It's a miracle that this movie exists because of the circumstances that happened.
Yeah.
So we're very lucky.
I think without those set of circumstances of James Gunn getting fired,
right,
we probably wouldn't have got this movie, which is just crazy to think.
And let me tell you, it's a shame that this movie is not getting seen by many people, because it is not getting half the amount of money it should be making at the box office because of HBO Max and COVID and whatever. But the movie itself, the characters, because I'm a character man. If you can make me love characters overall, the story can be like whatever, but the characters, that's where you shine. And he did it.
He just made all the main characters that, survive at least. Or survive for the majority of the movie.
Yeah.
Were just very likable, and you could relate to them on some level.
Right. I love that secret ingredient James Gunn has when he makes like despicable characters or like loser type characters. He does a redeeming quality throughout the movie. In interviews, he explained that every one of the the main characters, they have their own arc in this. They have like a complete arc. Bloodsport's, he doesn't think that he has any heroic qualities,
Mm-hmm.
But he does, and his tenacity is shown throughout. They tease it when he's like, he like commits to like getting the gum off the floor, and then when Starro is there, he wants to turn around. But then at the last second, he's like, all right, fuck, I'll help. And then Harley has a complete arc that started from her, debut, and then Birds of Prey, and now she's her own, like, independent woman. That was a very cool scene because she, like, fought her way out, and you get to see Harley Vision and all that. So there's all these arcs throughout, except Peacemaker, which I think we'll get in the show.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's weird that Peacemaker is getting a show. Just because, like, I mean, spoiler alert. I mean, actually, I don't need to keep saying spoiler alert, but I think we've set that up in the beginning. But just how he, becomes a dick towards the end.
Right.
He was kind of a dick from the get-go, but, like, it was still, like, in the funny sense where it's, like, you can still like him.
Yeah.
but at the end when he kills Rick Flag, I was like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, with Rick Flag, James had made him, and Joel, they made Rick such a cool character this time. Because, like, in that first movie, it's like...
Yeah, in the first movie, he was just kind of a very generic...
Yeah, like soldier type.
Like, military type. And then in this, they showed, like, deeper layers to him, like, with how he befriended the rebels and stuff. And
I don't even really know
cause.
How they did it, but they did it. I think it was just through the use of him having fun with the team. And, like, I think that connection with Harley worked very well.
Oh, yeah, his relationship growing with Harley and stuff.
Yeah, by the way, what are your thoughts on Harley? Is this her best movie or what?
Yeah, I think so. I think with the original Suicide Squad, even though the movie wasn't great, I think she was still a standout character. There were some issues, but I think as they progressed, from Suicide Squad to Birds of Prey and now to the Suicide Squad, I think they've just slowly built her character up.
Yeah.
And then the Suicide Squad is the culmination of all that character build up.
And I'm really glad that they got her to have sort of the final kill of Starro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And what was weird about this movie is, I know it's Harley Quinn, but I was actually kind of scared that she might die for some reason. It's the way that James wrote this movie. You didn't really know who gets to live. I was like...
Yeah, I like basically from the get-go, he's like, don't get attached to anyone.
Yeah, even the marketing.
Yeah.
Because, like, that whole team in the beginning gets wiped out.
Yeah, I was surprised how many of them they killed off. I was hoping at least, like, Nathan Fillion's character or, like, Pete Davidson's character would survive a bit longer.
And what's funny is with Nathan Fillion's character, TDK, there was a scenario when they were inside the truck and then they shoot the door and there's a hole and then, the truck crashes. But in that specific scenario, TDK could have been useful if he detached his arm to, like, steer that vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I also love the cast of characters that he concocted to be in this movie. That was
I like how he used, like... It was really smart that he used, like, very, like, niche, like, not very well-known characters. That, like, if they were killed off, like, it wouldn't be too much of a big deal for the greater universe. Right. And also, B, they weren't just, like, dumb characters. I mean, some of them kind of were dumb, but, like, they had their usefulness. like Polka Dot Man, like, how he ended up being, like, really badass.
Yeah, Polka Dot Man was pretty badass. I love the David Dastmalchian's
he killed it.
Representation of that one. That was very nice. But I think the most endearing character to me with the most heart is Cleo Cazo as Ratcatcher 2.
Oh yeah, I liked her character.
Yeah, it's really good. Great addition. She actually was a legitimate hero throughout. She was only in jail because she tried to rob a bank. So it was like, nice.
I mean, they wouldn't have been able to defeat Starro without her.
Yeah. Also,
I like how.
What's up?
Oh, sorry. I like how with a lot of the characters, they start out as like, their powers are really dumb. How would this
Yeah.
be useful? And you're like, oh, that's how it'd be useful.
Yeah, and I love
Like, pretty
that
much most of the characters have that at least that development throughout the movie.
James is so smart because he like turned that on its head to make that the theme when Taika Waititi's like Cleo is like, why rats, Papa? And he's like, well, if rats could be useful, then we all have use for us all or something. I was like, whoa, that's the theme of the movie. What a genius.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Wow. So I think this movie is going to have people think about getting pet rats. You know, they're going to like little sharks here and there. And, you know, maybe they'll adopt little weasels, little weird chupacabras. You know?
I was so glad when it turned out Weasel didn't die.
Oh, let me tell you. Jeet and I, we did a bet.
Mm-hmm.
A money transaction had occurred before this movie. We were like, all right, we're going to bet right here, right now. Who's the first to die?
Yeah.
And he was like, he was like a weasel.
And then he was so like hyped. Like,
and I said Pete Davidson. So, thanks, James. I love the characters. John Cena, perfect casting. So much physicality in that role, and he had the serious emotional chops at times. I was very into that.
Yeah, like, even though he ends up being like a huge dick at the end, like, just in general as an actor, I think John Cena's grown on me.
Yeah.
You know?
He was really good in Cockblockers as well.
Oh yeah, I need to watch. He was
quite funny in that. Idris Elba, honestly, probably one of my favorite roles he's done. Margot killed it as usual. Sure. Did you know she actually did that feet thing? Like with
yeah. Yeah, and basically James Gunn was like, she did it herself, but you wouldn't know because of how it was shot, where it was like close up.
That was awesome.
So like, I thought that was great. Even though it really didn't even matter because you could have easily just assumed, it was just a double or whatever.
Yeah, I think my favorite moment from Harley is that actual fight when she starts singing and she's like, you know, hostage, and then she escapes, and then the music happens and it's synced up, and then Harley Vision with the flowers and the birds. It was like a peek into her mindset, and as she escapes the building, you can hear the music dwindle down as if it was in the building. And so her state of mind in that moment is like, I am alone. And then it's endearing when Rick Flag is like, we were there to rescue you. And then her emotional face, the acting in it was like, you were here to rescue me. And then they hug. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that was good, like, character, like, bonding moments like that in the movie.
Solid scene.
And on your point about the music, how, like, it was, like, when she was going through that whole scene, when she was, like, shooting down all the guards or whatever, and it's, like, the music's playing, and then when she leaves, the music kind of, like, sounds like it's coming from inside the building. I think they did stuff like that, like, multiple times throughout the movie.
Yeah.
So I think they, like, made good use of the music.
It's James, man.
Where as opposed to the 2016 Suicide Squad, they just, like, every, like, couple minutes, just another song just thrown in there for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, it takes, like, 40 minutes in that original movie for them to actually, like, go on the mission. It's like, in this one, the new one, it's like, yo, you already know what's up. Michael Rooker, I'm gonna put this shit in your brain. Let's fucking go. Here's the team.
Yeah, that's one thing I liked where, like, they acknowledge the existence of the original Suicide Squad in a way where it's, like, just so you don't have to go through all that exposition again. Because I feel like they do that sometimes. They do that a lot of times when they reboot stuff. Like, specifically, like, Spider-Man. Right. Where every time they do a reboot, they have to go through all the same beats,
or, like, the Incredible Hulk movie where it just, like, did a montage of, you know, hey, you know the story. You don't need it.
Yeah. Yeah, with this, there's like, you know it. Like, you know how this works.
Right. Like, with this movie, I love the callbacks to the original, where it's like, hey, here's Captain Boomerang again, and now Harley and Captain Boomerang have a dynamic of like, hey, I remember you, and she calls him Boomerang. I was like, oh, nice. And I was kind of upset he died, but I was like, all right, for the movie, okay, it works, you know.
I think they had to do that though, where like they couldn't just kill off like the really minor characters that you didn't care about. Yeah. They had to kill off bigger characters, so you like know like, oh, no one's safe. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the Suicide Squad. Any final thoughts, John?
I think overall it's a good introduction of James Gunn to the MCU. Or not MCU, not MCU. DCEU. Sorry, my bad. DCEU. You can cut that.
Sure.
Splice it up so it sounds like I said the right thing the first time.
Definitely.
But yeah, it's a good introduction of James Gunn's style to the DCEU.
Yep.
It's definitely a distinct style that you can see some similarities to the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Obviously, the ensemble cast, but you definitely see that he was able to take more liberties with more of the violence and
the language, yeah.
Yeah, the language and stuff like that. And overall, I just think definitely in the top 3 DCEU movies at least.
Yep.
Yeah, overall fun experience. I hope we get a sequel, preferably with James Gunn involved again.
What would you rate this?
I would say an 8.5 to a 9.
Yeah, that's good. I love that.
I think the only reason I wouldn't rate it higher is because I think the pacing the pacing was very fast in the beginning. They just went on the mission from the get-go.
Right.
Kind of had some exposition mixed in there, so you didn't lose that pacing.
Yeah.
But then I think in the middle, once they got to the island and they were dealing with the whole political side of it, with the dictators taking over, Harley getting captured by the guy, I think the pacing slowed down a bit, and that kind of picked back up in the last act of the movie.
Right.
But I think just minor pacing issues, which at best is just being a little nitpicky. But yeah, other than that, it was great. It was fun. I look forward to more of it.
Nice. All right, I'll give my quick thoughts and then we'll officially end the video. I adored it. I loved it. I loved the weird rivalry between Bloodsport and Peacemaker when they went through that jungle and just killed innocent people unknowingly. That was equally parts terrifying and cool.
I like how.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I like how they went there though with that sort of thing, where there's no way he could do anything like that in the MCU.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I love that Amanda Waller played beautifully by Viola Davis, or is that her name? Yeah.
I think so. I think it's how it's pronounced.
Yeah, I love that when she explained who Peacemaker was, it was literally the exact same description as Bloodsport, and he was like, "Are you having a laugh?" I love that. I love the fight choreography. Starro, what a weird villain! Great idea to have in this movie as a kaiju type of menace. I love that even though they are villainous, they have heroic moments in this. His choice of music is insane. And his music combined with the cinematography, like that one scene, it looked like a splash page of a comic book where it was with the rain, and they're all they look badass. Milton, hilarious. that was good stuff. You just see him in the background just doing shit, and you're just like, what? He's still here?
Rip Milton.
Yeah, that was great. And one last thing. This movie to me is probably the closest we'll ever get to a Quentin Tarantino style comic book movie. Because the way it played around with the editing, where it jumped back and forth, I was like, wow, that's very creative in the way that you didn't make it so linear. Good idea.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the feet, he got the whole,
there you go.
Tarantino package.
Tarantino loves this.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we did it. We reviewed The Suicide Squad. We're going to put the campaign up. Hashtag get this movie to the Oscars. All right? Everybody do your part, okay?
Yeah.
Peace out. Bye.
Bye.